All right, so this video is to show you guys how to use Cami, which is a new feature that we're going to be using this semester. It allows us to write right on worksheets. There's different features in it. So when you go to your assignment, okay, I've set it up so that it's going to load into a new window. So again, you'll just click on the gray button, very much like Edge Elastic. It's going to open up a new tab for you. And so right now you can see it's preparing, so it's going to load this worksheet. It does, it turns things into PDFs and it allows you to write directly on here. So there's a couple different features over here: text box, equation, drawing, shapes, eraser. You could add a picture or video to your work. You could add comments. You could highlight. So depending on what you're doing, if it's a passage you're reading for a different class, you might need to highlight it up. You could add notes. You could do a picture. I'm going to show you a couple things that we're going to be using in this class when we're doing worksheets. The first feature is drawing. It allows you to write right on here, right? And then I could erase it. And so I could pick the different colors right on there. How thick you want to be able to write, so it shows up. So you can write right on. So with math, this is the feature that I think you'll be using the most when I want you guys to show your work. Is just this drawing tool allows you to write right on here. So like 125, okay? So I need cube root of 125. So if I break this up, okay, that's 25 times 5. And then 25 is 5 times 5. So I have 3 5s down there, so it shows up a triple. So this is just 5. I know it's a perfect cube. All right. Cube root of -8 again, so that's a perfect cube. So that's just going to be -2. Right. 320. Okay. Well, I don't know that one, so I got to break this one up a little bit more. So that's 32 times 10. All right. 32 will be 16 times 2. 10 will be 2 times 5. 16 will be 8 times 2. Right, and then 8 will be 4 times 2. And 8 is 2 times 2. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2's and a 5. Right, so if I write that out, right, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. All right, so again, it's a cube root, so I'm looking for something that shows up 3 times. So I get 2 sets of 2's, okay, and the 5 on the inside. So on the outside, it's 2 times 2 on the outside, which is 4, and 5 on the inside. All right, and so you can just double check that, right? Let's make sure that's right. That's 64 times 5, which is 320. So you can just show your work right there, okay, using that feature. Okay, what's this equation feature? This is another one that you might want to use. Because you could insert equations in here. You could search it, but you could find different math symbols, okay, to use and type with. You could use, here's your square roots, okay, nth roots. So right, something we're using here as you search through. what you want to use here. All right, so that's the exponent button. So if I'm typing in here, so my equation, if I want to write in my answer here, so cube root of 24, right, it's going to be 2, right, and then you hit your cube root button there, and so you could type in 3, right, so the answer here is 2, make it bigger, okay, right, and I just clicked on that, just change the font size, okay, you can move it around. Clicking on that, I believe, should allow you to move it. Maybe not. Oh, there, you grab it there, move it. Okay, and so that's the answer. And again, we did this one in classes, 8 times 3, and that's how I knew. So you type in your answer. Again, so over here, let me just show you again. So you hit equation, okay, and you just start typing there. So like 16, okay. So I know that's 8 times 2, so that's going to be, okay, the cube root of 8. Okay, times the cube root of 2. And again, so that is, get the mouse going, move it a little bit, make it bigger. And then the cube root of that. So again, I'll just come back over here, equation, type in right below it now. And you can increase your font size here before you do it, right? So cube root of 8 is just 2. And then cube root of 2. And so you could type in all your work instead of handwriting it, but you're still showing me all the work, okay, that you're doing. All right, so you could choose your different symbols. You have to do plus or minus, equals, multiplication. So lots of different features in here. Or if I want to do a fraction, so you're just looking for the different stuff. All right, subscript, function with subscript, so function notation type stuff. So those are some features you could use. All right. Pause this for a second. All right, so another feature that we can use is the insert an image picture here, add media. So once you get the picture on your computer or your Google Drive, again, so you could do it from your phone and then just upload it to your Google Drive or your computer, email it to yourself. So I took a picture of my work. Hit open, it's going to load up for you here in a second or so. And so I can put it wherever I want. And you can see that it's obviously too big right now. So I'm going to crop it. All right, so I could shrink it down, cut off all the extra work. I only want an image of my work here. And once you get it cropped, just hit enter. And it gets cropped for you. Move it where you want. Again, if it's just a little bit too big, you could resize it by grabbing the dot. So now, if you want to do your work on paper, then insert the image of the work where it goes. You can. I mean, if you took a picture of the whole assignment or you printed out the assignment, you did all the work, you could just take a picture, then paste that whole picture in there and just make it as big as you want to cover up all the space. Right, so different ways to use that feature of the picture. And then, so just for the sake of it, just so you have all the answers, I'll finish doing this really fast. Again, just using the drawing feature. All right, so cube root of 64 is 4, and then gets the perfect cube, and then divide. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so x squared, there's no remainder, right? So that's just 4x squared right there. All right, now there's a 3 on the outside. All right, and so with this, that just means it's 3 times that. So that 3 is just going to stay on the outside. Anything else that comes to the outside just gets multiplied by the 3. And so this is the 5th root of x to the 10th y to the 5th. So both of those are divisible by 5. Right, so it's just going to be 3x squared y and no remainder, so nothing on the inside. Here's the square root. Remember, when there's not an index number, it's implied to be 2. So it's the square root of 9x to the 5th, right? So the square root of 9 is 3. And then 5 divided by 2 is 2 with the remainder of 1. So you get x squared on the outside, the remainder, so x to the first on the inside. Remember, the remainder is the exponent. Right? You don't have to write to the first power. Right over here, we got square root of 32. So again, 32 is 16 times 2. And if you put a square root on both of those, so it's 4 rad 2. I'll leave a little bit of space so I can put my variables in there as well. So then I just do my variables here. So 3 divided by 2 is 1. So there'd be x to the first on the outside, remainder of 1. So x on the inside. And there's also 2 in there. Right? And then y to the 6. So square root of that is just y cubed. So I get 4xy cubed times the square root of 2x. Okay, so remember, like, that 3 is not an index number. That's there. So maybe I should probably erase that a little bit and make that a little bit neater so it doesn't look confusing here. So a square root, and it was 2x. Right, so now you can see that there's no index number in there. Okay, so again, these no numbers here, so this is just dividing. So it's going to be x squared on the outside with the remainder of 2. So here I got my index number, so x squared on the inside, and then just y squared on the outside. So x squared, y squared, cube root of x squared. And again, the x squared is inside because there's a remainder of 2. All right, square root of 81 is 9. Square root of x squared is x, and then square root of y cubed is y rad y. So you get 9xy rad y. And here we have a negative on the outside, negative cube root of 24x to the 6th y to the 10th. So my answer is going to be negative. All right, cube root of 24 we've done already. It's 2 cube root 3. So now I'm going to have a 2 on the outside. Okay, I'm going to have a cube root of 3. I just left space because I have room to write my variables in here. So cube root of x to the 6th is x squared. And cube root of y to the 10th is y cubed with 1 left over. So y on the inside. So you get negative 2x squared y cubed times the cube root of 3y. And now we have the square root, negative 2 times the square root of 125 x to the 10th y to the 5th. Okay, so the negative 2 is going to be on the outside, so square root of 125, right? So we kind of did that up there. 25 times 5, square root would be 5 rad 5, right? So because I have a negative 2 on the outside, actually, I'm going to show you my work on this one here. So negative 2 says on the outside. Okay, then I'm going to, for 125, I'm going to get 5 rad 5. And then x to the 10th squared, that's just x to the 5th. And then for the y, it'll be y squared rad y. Put it all together. So negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. X to the 5th y squared. Oh, that's on the outside. And on the inside of the radical is 5y. All right, last one here, I'm going 4th root. Okay, so fourth root of 48. So it's again 48, 16 times 3, fourth root of 16 is 2. All right, so I'm going to have 3 times 2, 6. And on the inside, all right, what was left? It was 16 times 3, so 3 is left on the inside. And where did the 6 come from? Because 48 was 2, fourth root of 3. So 2 times the 3, that was already on the outside. All right, 13 divided by 4 is 3, so x cubed. 1 left over. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3 with no leftovers, no remainder. So you get 6x cubed y cubed times the fourth root of 3x. And so that's it. So again, we could add images. Okay, so if you do your work on paper, you get images. You could use the drawing tool, okay, to show your work. You could use the equation, okay, features to type the equations. If you just need to explain something, use the text box. Okay, this comment feature here, it's pretty nice. You could actually leave me a voice comment on here. Like you just, okay, I want to leave a voice comment over here. You click it, it's recording. So you could just say, hey, Mr. Pano, I had a hard time. I didn't know what to do with this number out in front. So can we go over that in class? Okay, so you can leave me voice comments. That's there. You can just leave me written comments. Might be easier for me to see, but I should be able to see it. When I open it up, I see that. And so I should be able to listen to it. All right, and then when you're all done, okay, you just hit submit, and it's going to send it to my gradebook in Canvas. All right, and so there you go. All right, so that's how you're going to use Kami. I'll tell you done when you're all done. If you need to unsubmit it to redo it or whatever, you hit unsubmit, make your changes, and hit submit again.